The very best tip I can give you for sticking to a whole food, plant-based lifestyle is to prep. There's no magic about it. There's nothing special. All you have to do is make a commitment that this is what you're going to do. And I promise you, I guarantee you that it will make a difference. If you're struggling, stick around. I've got you. Let's dig in. So before we get started, let me say this. I know for a fact because I've lived it. If you bring home the groceries from your market and you don't prep them right then and there, chances are you're going to put them in the fridge. They'll sit in a produce drawer. They'll end up migrating to the very back of your refrigerator and you won't find them. Well, maybe you'll find some of them, but you won't find all of them. And you'll end up throwing a fair amount out. Am I right? I know I am because I've done it. The first thing we're going to do is stripping the kale. What you do is you take your kale and you just grab it by the stem and you just pull. You end up with this and you end up with this. And this is the one that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to put it in the bag with the rest of the kale that I've already done. Here's another one, strip. And here's another one, strip. I did a bunch of it before we got started. So I have a whole bag right here. So this is done. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to wash it. That's the first step. I'd rather wash it now, get it done so that I don't have an impediment to using it. I'm taking the kale and I'm just ripping it with my hands. I'm going to see if I can fit the whole bag, the whole kit and caboodle into my salad spinner. And if you don't have one of these, I highly recommend it. It's much better than washing it and then putting it in a towel and trying to dry it that way. This is much more efficient. I really should do this in 2 batches, but I'm going to do it this way and see if it'll work. You might think this is crazy to go to the trouble of washing the greens and squeezing them like this and making sure you get all the dirt out and then spinning it dry and cutting it and putting it in a container, but it really makes all the difference. I'm going to pull out this basket, empty the other basket. This one's the inner basket. Sort of let it drip. The more that drips out, the less I have to spin. I'm going to empty this water out in the sink. And I'm going to do that a few more times until no more water comes out of the basket into the sink. I can take this kale and put it in a container and be done with it and then deal with it when I'm ready to use it. But I'm pretty sure that I am going to use it either to make kale salad or I might steam it, not really sure. I know that these pieces are just a little bit too big, so I'm going to take them and just chop them a little bit more. I could do it in the food processor, but to be honest, I'm a little bit too lazy to take it out today. I don't want to have another thing to clean. It's easier for me to just chop. So here's what it looks like. While I'm chopping the kale, I thought I would share with you a few of the ways I use it. I love making kale salad. I love to sort of sliver it into little ribbons, and then I'll add some slivered almonds and some dried cranberries, whatever protein I might have in the refrigerator, like some already cooked tofu or some TVP or some soy curls. And then I make a really yummy dressing to put on it, and it's really a wonderful, refreshing salad. You'll also notice that I put a towel underneath that plastic cutting board because it makes it so that the cutting board will not slip. So anyway, another way I use it is I chop it really fine and I put it in my oatmeal. And I know that sounds kind of weird to put, greens in your oatmeal, but it works. And it's just another way to get cruciferous vegetables into your tummy. Let's see, I'll put it in soup. I'll put it in stir fries. I'll add it to sandwiches. There's really a million ways. Once you start doing this, all of a sudden you'll discover that there are so many ways that you can use it, and you'll miss it when you don't have it in the refrigerator. A number of people have commented about my using plastic containers and plastic cutting boards. I'm 100% with you. I get it. And it is definitely my goal to replace all of my plastics with either glass containers or wooden cutting boards. But, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's an expensive endeavor. And little by inches, I plan on making those substitutions. So just wanted to let you know that. I now have 2 containers of kale that's washed, that's spun dry, that's sort of coarsely cut. but it's ready for me to use in whatever recipe or whatever non-recipe that I'm going to use it in. Okay, on to the broccoli. First thing I'm going to do is peel the outside. Once you start cutting it, it starts actually falling apart into smaller pieces. The sulforaphane in broccoli helps to fight inflammation and protect your cells, so make sure you eat it, lots of it. I'm really looking for pieces that are small that I would consider putting on my fork. By the way, I'm going to be washing and spinning these as well. And I really like the stems. I think they're really tasty. When my kids were little, I used to call these broccoli trees. I have my own favorite way of eating broccoli. I like it when it's steamed, but still crisp. Into the salad spinner. There are so many ways you can enjoy broccoli. You can eat it raw in salads. You can steam it lightly, which I've mentioned that's one of my favorite ways to eat it. You can toss it into stir fries with other veggies. You can blend it into soups. You can chop it really, really fine and sprinkle it over your grain bowls. No matter how you use it, it's a great way, like I mentioned, to get sulforaphane, which is such a powerful compound, into your body to protect your cells and to fight inflammation. So what you waiting for? Go get you some broccoli. There's something very meditative about doing this if you take your time. Everybody's always in such a rush. Why? Why can't we just enjoy the art and the privilege of being able to have food like this that's fresh from the earth that we can take our time to prepare? I wonder if you could share in the comments what are some of your most favorite ways to eat broccoli. Do you like it raw? Do you like it cooked? Just give me an idea of how you like it. I'm okay with this being a little bit wet because this is going to get eaten probably in the next 3 days. This makes me so happy because I know that I'm going to be able to open my fridge and go, oh, I have broccoli, and just, I don't have to wash it. I don't have to spin it. I don't have to cut it. It's already done. It's like, that's the magic of this. If there was any magic, that's it. It's the magic of it. Isn't that great? All done. My favorite way to eat sweet potatoes is cutting them into chunks and then cutting the chunks into little croutons, if you will. And then I bake them and I put them in the fridge, and I love them just eating them like that, putting them on salads, putting them in soups, putting them over rice. I'll show you how I do it. I already cleaned these and also cut off some of the stuff that was not looking so terrific. It happens, but I wasn't going to throw the whole potato out. I am going away for a few days. It will be nice to take these already prepped and cooked sweet potato croutons in the car with me to snack on. I have about a 3.5-hour ride. I love this tool that I have. It's a company called Full Star, and it makes really perfect uniform pieces. Now this is too small, so I'm going to change it to the larger one. If you can find these white sweet potatoes in your area, they're really fantastic. Sometimes they're called Hannah sweet potatoes. Sometimes they're called Jersey sweet potatoes. Sometimes they're labeled just as white sweet potatoes. They're a little bit different from the Japanese sweet potato. It's a different variety, but no matter what, if you can find these, they are so delicious. And if you make them in advance and then put them in the refrigerator once they cool down, you'll create resistant starch, which is going to impact your blood sugar less, and they end up tasting just like cake. Take a look at that. Can you see in the bottom? They're all done. This comes off, and now I have all these great little pieces, which I'm going to, I have no more parchment paper, so I have to use these silicone mats. I'm going to sprinkle them with a little bit of cinnamon into the oven, 400 degrees. Carrots. I love having shredded carrots in the fridge. I find that when I shred the carrots in advance, I eat them. Shredded carrots are really, really versatile. I don't know what I would do without them. I use them in my salads. I stir them into my soups. I mix them into my morning oatmeal. That is a non-negotiable. I layer them in my sushi bowls or my veggie sushi rolls. I even bake them into muffins and cookies. No matter how I use them, once they're peeled and then shredded in my food processor, I have them in the fridge and they're there ready to be used at a moment's notice. And they add such sweetness and such bright color and tons of nutrition. I have to say that shredding carrots with my Breville food processor is really one of the best ways to shred carrots. This is the spindle. It goes into the bowl, and then I'm going to use the coarse side of the shredder. I just feed the carrots in and it shreds them. Done. How quick was that? So like I've said before, prepping ingredients ahead of time makes eating healthy so much easier. You know, when you have things like shredded carrots, when you chop your veggies, when you have your cooked grains, everything ready in the fridge, you can throw together a really delicious and nourishing meal in just minutes. It's a little bit of time, but it's well worth spending that time prepping now so that you're not stuck wondering what to eat when you're in a pinch or when you just don't have time or you just don't feel like cooking. Now, you might be wondering why I'm doing this when I'm going away for a few days. I'm going to be leaving a lot of this home for my husband, and I'm also going to take some of it with me. Carrots done. Oh yeah, you're not allowed to look at my sink. It's a mess, but that's okay. When I'm all done, it's going to be worth the 10 minutes it's going to take me to wash everything. I have everything prepped and ready to go in the fridge, and how great is that? Okay, next I'm going to make some of my don't call it cheese sauce. I'm going to start with peeling my potatoes and cooking them in the microwave with the carrots and the onion. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay, these came out perfect. The potatoes are done, the carrots are done, the onions are done. I'll put them right into the blender. In today's video, I'm showing you how I make my don't call it cheese sauce using fresh potatoes, carrots, and onions that I cooked in the microwave until they were really nice and tender. I did that instead of using dehydrated potato flakes like I've done in another video, which you can find on my channel. And even though it takes that extra step, I think it was worth it because the sauce came out so creamy, so delicious. And I like both methods, but it was fun to try it this way, and I'll probably do it again. Time to blend it. I forgot to put a little bit of turmeric in, so I'm going to do that and then reblend it. It already smells delicious. In goes the 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. I have no idea how it tastes. I usually am the one to taste it first.
It's really good.
Delicious, right?
Yeah, it's delicious.
We got a thumbs up. Take a look. It is delicious. Came out perfect. And I couldn't be happier. So I will leave some of this home for my husband, and I'll leave him half of it, and I'll take the other half with me on my trip because I'm going to stay with my daughter, and she doesn't follow this way of eating. This way I'll bring some of my own stuff. Anyway, delicious. What you saw me do today was the kale, the broccoli, the celery, the carrots, and the cheese sauce. None of those were recipes except for the cheese sauce, which you will find the recipe for that in the show notes below this video. And what I really teach you how to do is to make components, things that you can take and put into a bowl. Not necessarily a recipe, except for maybe a few of the things like the sauces, right? But you have the makings of a meal right there. You can take your rice, which I use either frozen rice, or I make rice and freeze it, or I keep it in the refrigerator. And then I can make a bowl out of the rice and any of the vegetables that I prepped today, or all of them. I can douse them with the cheese sauce. I can add some of the tofu that's already prepped in my refrigerator that I air fried maybe 3-4 days ago. And I have a meal. And I don't mind eating that same meal over and over and over again because it's easy. It makes my life so easy. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my plant-based goodness. My name is Ellen of Ellen's Healthy Kitchen, and I help you plant your plate one healthy meal at a time. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.